we have this mindset of building our men. We feel like we can talk anyhow about our men. I'm the only one that should have feelings and emotion and should express them. I always felt like I can move on, keeping whatever happens in a relationship between you and your partner. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Anna Morgan. If you've been here before, you already have an idea that this video is going to be, something of value. If this is your first time here, welcome. Please subscribe to my channel, and if you like it, go ahead and check out my other type of content and stuff like that. They're generally like this one. So in this video, I'm going to talk about toxic relationship traits that I had to drop. Now, why does it sound like I'm trying to out myself? I have no idea. I wrote down the notes for this video a very long time ago, probably a month or month and a half ago, and I was very hesitant to record this video because it sounds like I'm putting myself on the spot and I'm kind of exposing myself. But if you've watched my other videos, you recognize that I'm definitely on a journey of self-improvement and reflecting and overall just trying to improve the quality of life that I'm living, because the only life I'm sure about is this one and I kind of want to maximize everything out of it. So one of the very big things in my life, of course, is my relationship, and over the past couple of years I've been just really doing some deep reflection. I noticed that I was heavily influenced by the way social media was setting the standards for relationship. And if you're constantly scrolling and reading posts and watching those fast shorts, TikToks and reels, you could be easily sucked into the toxic mindset that's being portrayed without even noticing. I recognized that I was saying and doing things in my relationship that didn't even reflect what the relationship really was. I was just acting off of thinking a certain way about men, even though the man that I'm with does not portray that image in any way. Probably you're also in that reflective phase and wanting to improve the quality of your relationship, or you're at that state where you know that there's no way that you're perfect, because that's where I am, where I know that if something goes wrong, I more than likely have a part to play in the reason why things didn't work out. And the list that I have here on my tablet, in no way have I perfected these qualities or anything, but I'm definitely on my journey working on these traits, and I'd be lying if I said that I haven't seen the benefits of making these changes in my relationship so far. I have 6 points that I'm going to talk about, and some of these points actually cross into each other, but this is just how I organized it. The first toxic trait that I needed to drop was disrespect. So the first point I have here under disrespect is not accepting who my partner is. And I noticed that a lot of women, including myself, we have this mindset of building our men. We'd find a man that has good traits, like he has good morals, he's kind, he's caring, and he shows love towards you. And we take that and say, okay, that's a good guy. But we'd want to change everything else about them. We don't like the fact that they do the things they do, how they do it, or we don't like what they like. So we plan on molding them into the man that we want them to be and to do the things that we want them to do. And that's so disrespectful. Who are we to be going to a fully grown man and telling him that he needs to stop doing this how he's doing it, he needs to do this another way or whatever, dictating for him how he needs to live his life? That's extremely disrespectful. But I'm at the point where if I am choosing you to be my partner, that means I like the core traits that you have. That means that you tick off my box on your morals, the way you treat me, the way everything else is filled. But you being yourself is up to you. I might not find certain aspects of them favorable. That doesn't mean that I need to try and change it. It means I need to accept them. Because trying and forcing someone to change their habits or ways in certain things, that means you're saying that I don't think that you're capable of living out your life in a way that it will work. Now, my next point under disrespect is not allowing our partners or men to lead. Now, if I'm going to pick you to be my partner as a man, that means I'm picking you to potentially be the head of the household. So there's no way that I'm picking you to be the head of the household, but yet I still want to be dictating how you run your household as a man. And people might come for me for saying stuff like this and everything, but I do believe that men and women both have very important role in society, and none of them is more important than the other, but we're not equal. And I believe that a man's role is to lead his household. So if I'm going to date you as my partner and you take the role as the leader of the household, and then I'm going to come in and tell you that you're doing things wrong and I don't trust the way you're doing what you're doing, and basically taking it up on myself to go the opposite direction than the way that you organized and oriented for us to take, then that's me being disrespectful to you as the leader of the household. So that's my second point under disrespect. And then my third point is talking down to your partner. That's another thing that I see that's heavy in our community, especially as Black women. We feel like we can talk anyhow about our men, say anything about them that just demeaning, condescending, totally just disrespectful overall. It's so rude. It's a form of emotional or verbal abuse, and there is absolutely no way anyone should actually sit and tolerate that in any relationship. Overall, those are the 3 points that I wrote down and the 3 traits that I knew I had to work on in order to have some form of a successful or a healthy relationship. So my next point is entitlement, or being entitled or acting entitled. So many women are feeling like they're entitled to certain treatment, certain behaviors, or I had that mindset that I'm the only one in the relationship because I'm a woman that should have feelings and emotion and should express them. So I would say and do things that would probably affect my partner or would be mean to them or anything of that sort. And whenever they react to it, I would feel like, why are you upset? You're not allowed to feel upset about it. I'm feeling upset because I'm on my period, or I'm the one that's allowed to feel upset because I'm a woman and women are emotional. So you're not allowed to feel any form of upset or angry or anything because of my actions. And also feeling like I'm the woman, you should buy me flowers, you should bring me on these vacations, you should always take care of me, you should wine and dine me, and then expecting all of that from the man, but have no intentions or no actions that's actually worth receiving such treatment. So they should just be giving, and I'm just taking, and I'm not giving anything in return. And giving anything in return does not mean that you're splitting the bills 50-50. It could just mean you're performing some valuable role in your partner's life. And even when you're providing this valuable role in their life, it doesn't mean that they must bring you flowers, or they must remember to surprise you with a gift, or they must do something of some sort in that case. But now I know that no one is obligated to do anything for you. So you should have zero expectations when it comes to anyone. And that way you can be genuinely surprised when the person notices and decides to show appreciation for what you've done. And I'm not saying that your partner shouldn't appreciate your work or anything, because no one likes to feel like they're unappreciated. And if you're feeling like you're doing and the person is just taking and not showing any appreciation for the effort that you're putting in, that's a whole other thing. But that doesn't mean that you should feel entitled to certain actions just because it's your man. Now, the third toxic trait that I needed to drop or needed to work on or anything is disloyalty. And disloyalty does not necessarily only mean that you're actually getting up and physically being intimate with someone else. For some reason, no matter what the status of the relationship was, I always felt like I can move on. As soon as the relationship hits a bump or things get rough or anything, I would feel like, oh, this means that I should leave, or I can't stand this anymore. There was no endurance in my mindset when it comes to relationship. As soon as it hit the fan or something went wrong, I would be like, you know what, I can't do this. I have to go. I'm gone. Packing my bags, I'm ready to go or whatever. Or even feeling like I have options and leaving the door open as an open invitation for other guys to shoot their shot. Not saying if a guy shoot their shot meaning you left the door open on purpose, because men will be men and they're always going to flirt or whatever. But when you're somehow accommodating it, when you know that you're in a committed relationship with someone, and that's being disloyal to your partner. So that's another toxic trait that needed to be dropped. The fourth point that I have is accountability. This is a big point. Whenever I mess up, I find excuses or something of some sort to try to say that's why I did it, instead of just internalizing and saying, you know what, I really messed up for real, and sincerely apologizing to the person, because you can reflect and acknowledge where you went wrong in the scenario or in whatever the situation is. That's taking accountability for your action. And there was absolutely none. It was at the point where if my partner did something wrong, that means they were wrong. But if I did something wrong, it's because I'm a woman and I'm emotional and my period is almost here and that's why I did that and everything. But they're not allowed to make the same mistakes. No, because they are more stable emotionally. So it's as if there's always an excuse for my action as the woman, and the partner should take accountability for their actions, but I shouldn't. Taking accountability does not mean giving backhanded apologies. I'm sorry you think I offended you. It involves actually sitting down and reflecting on your action and taking responsibility for the way things turned out and actually apologizing or doing whatever it takes to make the situation better, genuinely. And then the fifth point that I have is comparison. And this is a big thing that's going on, where I'm seeing we're letting social media set the standards for our relationship. So we are sitting and looking at other people post the best shots of their relationship, their vacations, their dinners, or whatever is going on, or whatever surprises or gifts or whatever they give and send to each other and everything. And we see that and we compare that to our relationships and assume that that person is in a better relationship than us. And because of that, we're up and ready to leave our good relationship because we're chasing after the relationship that doesn't exist on social media. And when I say it doesn't exist, is we're not seeing that couple's arguments. We're not seeing anything. We're not seeing the downs of that relationship. And their down is probably way lower than the downs that you've experienced with your partner. So even if your partner doesn't buy you flowers, but that girl's partner buys her flowers, he's probably doing something that's so grave. And that's why he bought her that flower. You know, like, you just don't know what's going on in somebody else's life. So don't compare your relationship to them any at all. And now my sixth toxic relationship trait that I needed to drop was, I never put it as a word, but there's probably a word to say this, but keeping whatever happens in a relationship between you and your partner. With this, I mean, what happens between you and your partner, the conversations you have, the things you do and everything does not need to go anywhere outside of just between you and your partner. And not sharing it with your friends and family or whoever does not mean that they have bad intentions for you or they want it to fall apart, which that could also be the reason, but they could genuinely want your relationship to work and want your happiness. But that does not mean that you need to share everything that happens between you and your partner with them. Because when you tell your friend or family about whatever that is going on in your relationship, if you guys had an argument or something of that sort, they're going to take that information and incorporate it and match it with their life experience. And their experience or what they've heard about another friend or somebody else that went through that same situation, it could have been way worse than what you're really going through. And there's a factor that your friends and family don't have. They don't have that special intimacy that you have with your partner. So their interpretation of it might not have as much love in it. Not meaning they don't love your partner, but it might not have the depth of emotions attached to it. Sometimes the way they evaluate it is just to say, I could not put up with that, or that's something I could not handle. Or you could also be putting a bad rep on your partner because they're just hearing your side of the story a lot of times, and that's just your interpretation of what happened when his point of view could be completely different. So that's it. Their evaluation of the situation is going to be based on their perspective, which probably does not even reflect who your partner is. And then again, when you go and spill the bad beans to people about your relationship, when you decide to get back and be good with your partner, you're gonna look funny, you're gonna look almost stupid, and you don't want to be going around people and feeling uncomfortable to be loving on your partner in public or anything, because you know there are people who know your deep secrets or your business of your relationship. That's not good at all. Now, it doesn't mean that there's not a point in which you will need to seek advice advice from people, but you need to be very careful of who you're seeking advice from. So whether it is another couple of your parents, both of you parents, or another couple that you know you trust that has been in a relationship for a very long time, probably a married couple that's been married for 25, 30 years. And it doesn't mean that their advice is still going to be the best, but theirs might be better than your single friends that are giving you the advice. So these are the points that I jot down. I really hope that I made my points clear and expressed them the way I wanted them to come across. As I said, I'm not perfect in any way when it comes to any of these points that I mentioned, but I am super proud of myself for acknowledging that there was a problem with my mindset and the way I thought about these topics, and knowing that I needed to work on them, and also being able to communicate with my partner and having both of us work on improving and making our relationship better. So it's a really fulfilling feeling, and I'm so happy about this. If you want to continue this discussion or add points to the things that I've said, let's talk about it more in the comments. This is definitely not a list that's complete. There's a lot more points that could be added to this, and I want to attract subscribers that are in this reflective phase of their life as well. And you can go ahead and check out my other videos that are similar to this content. And yeah, so go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and bye.